Okay, I've already kind of started setting up here because I'm going to tell you how to install these pipes, I call them. They're actually the support bars, but when I say pipes, I'm referring to these. They are stored under the truck, but as the driver pulls up, once he gets level, there's lots of things that can happen simultaneously, but the most labor-intensive thing, and the reason we need support staff to help with this instead of just two guys that might be able to do it on their own, is there's lots of ratcheting and things that happen on the platform. So the platform and getting the side rails on and the side bar and all that stuff are the most important thing. These pipes are stored underneath there on two big ratchets that suck them up in underneath. When you go to store them, definitely put this rail in first and the last rail in, because they have those side supports on. This one had to have one because the truck ends before I added some more stuff onto it, so we had to stick out the back. But if you put those two on first, that'll make it easier to get the rest in, because we do store the ratchets with the pipes because it's easier just to loosen them about 2 inches to get them off the end here for travel, to get them off the end there to put them here. So we just have to loosen them a little bit to get them off the end so we can get the end in there. We then stick them in there, and you can see what happens when we ratchet them in. They really get stuck in there well. There's no chance that these are going to fall off during the partying, and you'll notice that they're not really resting in our support in that little joint there. That joint's just a guide. They're resting on the truck. So we designed this that the bed of the truck's here. We built up the entire, sorry, I'm pointing at my game here. The bed of the truck's here. We built up the entire bar to be 3 inches higher, so we have a whole bunch of support structures, and we run wires and all kinds of plumbing and things underneath, so it's kind of a good way to hide stuff. But the main structure is actually resting right on top of that flatbed. Okay, so we go out, we ratchet that in. We do put the ratchets underneath each one of these jacks. You'll notice that each bar does have a place where you're going to put the jacks. If you can see that dot, you know where you're got the right side up. There is a right side up to every one of these bars. There's an indicator which way is up, but sometimes they've been, screwed through there or whatever. But just look for the circle above the jacks. The bars that are in the middle supports do have 2 places for jacks. One there and one here. We just had some people say, is there enough support there? We had plenty of support, but we threw an extra jack in just to make everyone feel warm and fuzzy. So when the truck pulls up, there's certain things that have to happen all at once. A couple of them being that, one, got to get that generator down, get it plugged in, because that's what keeps everything nice and cold and the ice maker keeps going. But once the truck is stopped and the engine's off, we can start running around doing all kinds of things. So as I mentioned, probably get that trailer up here beside. There will be the end of our, where we can party, has a white line painted in a angle here. We go a little bit beyond it, so go a little bit, but if you push our trailer up beyond it, because we've stored row 1 on the outside in the trailer, then row 2, we can get the trailer beyond where we are partying, not out of our area though, because it'll be even with the front of the truck here. So we'll put our trailer here, then we'll just push it back a little bit as we go to row 2. Sorry, I'm tripping over my product here. Then we'll go back and push it to row 3. Then eventually, after we got installed, the trailer does go back and store over by the bathrooms that you'll see when we're in Denver, behind where the trailer kind of looks like it is right now. So as I'm going to install these, I'm just going to loosen this ratchet to get it off the end there, stick it in that pipe. We get all of our supports for this side out of this drawer, and of course on the other side the supports are in the other drawer, and the bases for those are in this storage cabinet here. So you're going to, as soon as the truck's ready to go, we have so many people ready to help. The pipes are color coded to go with the panels. You'll notice out here, these doesn't mean anything about 3. I'm trying to show the front of the truck by putting a couple extra lines here. The color coding is trying to say there's a red pipe here, and there's a red pipe here, and then right here there'll be a red and blue pipe, and you'll see we're trying to install the red and blue pipe here. And this panel saying there's gonna be a red and blue pipe here. I'm just painting an extra couple of blue lines here to say that that's the front, because people keep flipping these all the way around depending on how someone jammed them into that trailer. These ones aren't so hard because we just flip them up on the truck, However, the ones that go in the trailer, they can get flipped upside down quite easily, and we always want to make sure that people are installing them properly with the front towards the front, and the 3 lines of the color in the section they're in are going to indicate that is the front. Okay, you see I got a center pipe there, and you can't see it yet because those are in the way, but there's going to be a single blue line and then a black line because we're going to change to blue then black as we get to there. So when the driver pulls up, we simply just need to ratchet the supports, get them off on the ground, and be careful. There are gloves and knee pads in the trailer. I'm going to show you that later, but make sure you get those knee pads on. It sucks because you have to do a lot of crawling around to do this ratcheting. But go ahead and get these pipes all lined up, and then get the jacks out of there. There's 10 jacks on this side. There's going to be 7 on the outside, and the middle supports we have additional 3 for a total of 10 on this side. Get the jacks out, the supports out, but if everyone kicks in here, this is where it all starts. You will get these jacks somewhat level. Is a level. There'll be a longer level than I have right now. I have a little 2-foot level. I'll have a 5-foot level that you're going to just work with teams. Now, if we don't have enough people to have 2 people on each pipe, that would be 14 people, which we're not going to have. We want to work from the front end of the truck always to the back. That's how we're going to keep this thing square. So we're going to get this row on first. You can't even put this thing down. Row 2, you want to, trust me, everyone, we've done it. We keep flipping things down because we want things off the truck so our bartenders and chefs can get up there. That's why it's important to get this thing going fast. But no matter what, if you're just 2 people, start with this pipe, and then go to this pipe, then go to this pipe. If you're 4 people, 2 people here, 2 people here, then keep skipping down. We have many people, so just get 2 people going on each pipe until we get going. We always try to keep these ratchets on the outside so you can stand up and ratchet, because we have to do enough crawling around underneath when we're trying to pull these panels together that it's hard enough as it stands. So we're going to go ahead and level these the best we can. We'll get a final level when we get the whole row together. So as we're going along, we're going to put down panel A, row 1 panel A, row 1 panel B, row 1 panel C. They're all pulled together forward first, then against the truck. We're done with that row, except for we'll put that 5 or 6 foot level, whatever I buy. We'll make sure that row is level. We can stand here in this area. I can stand right here where this row is going to be. Makes it nice and easy, and I'm not crawling around and pushing things around or trying to move multiple rows all at once while I try to get row 1 complete. Once row 1 is complete and it's square, because we're able to take a look at it when we set it up, and it'll be square based on this, and this one has little stops. That's why this one has stops on it here. So then we're going to pull everything against this bar, and then once we get row 1 all pulled to the front and pulled against the truck, now we're ready for row 2, but we level it first, and then we get going. Now, once row 2, we didn't have everyone moving fast enough. Once row 2 is started, we've designed this intentionally to have the side bars that are going to go on the end of row 1 stored right there inside the pass-through, so that as people are going on to rows 2 and 3 setting up, we can start emptying the bar now. We've opened the pass-through. We can get the sidebars on and the front rails on of row 1 because we've already leveled it and we're ready to go as we continue on down the back of the truck. Should be very efficient to get this thing rolling, and our bartenders and chefs on the top of that truck as early as 9 o'clock to 9:30 in the morning. So now, through the magic of TV, I got the first 3 supports in. You'll notice that I do put the supports the straps through the jack. Just helps keep them out of the way. But do keep in mind, when you are pulling the ratchets, these ones here, these ones are going to pull to the front of the truck. So underneath every single board, under every single walkway, there's these ratchets already tethered to the board that are going to go and hook into a circle. Not those circles, there's circles in the pipe themselves. But make sure you do not come under this to ratchet. You want to go through where you can, Now over here, this one's up against the pipe right here, so no problem. But just use your logic when you're bringing these ratchets through, that you make sure that you go above the strap that's supporting in the pipe so that you don't pull on it and can get as much tension as you can. But I go ahead and pull this panel down. Now these travel, when we put them up, they go behind something that I've put up here. These used to hold things on, but then I put whatever I could that it doesn't interfere with us partying, because it's kind of down where people's feet would be. These are, but they keep these on really nicely so they don't shuffle off and hit our rails and make it so we can't get those rails off the side, because they can wiggle their way off of here and land right on these things and catch our boards and we can't get them off. So that's what those are for, is just to keep those our walkways on the travel rail while we're traveling. But once I'm ready to go, when we're going to leave, these just pull through. It's very simple. It's just a little pinch, right? Now they come in from the back side. If you go the wrong way, it's easy to pull it out, you know, because that's how you tension it. So if you notice here, I came in through the back side, and to tension it, I can just pull it. So if you go in the wrong way, you're going to be able to pull it right out, but I can't pull it out the back side, right? So when I'm trying to get this board down to get it off the truck, now in Denver, this thing's going to be leaning at you hard because we're downhill. Well, we've leveled the truck by this point, but if the truck, when we're trying to put it away, he may have already removed the level on it so that we can just kind of leave or whatever. So it depends on what's going on, but we typically leave the fountain on, so it should still be level. But in the case that this thing is not level, these boards will fall on you. So be prepared. Maybe have someone hold the board up against the truck when you undo this, because it's going to come at you. But it's a simple pinch and pull that wire out of there, and then you do it in two places. Everything has a mark. Originally I had a Broncos blue and a Broncos orange on this one over here, but you'll find the corresponding colors up above, but they're directly above and can't miss it. But this stays attached here. The part that comes off is the rope. So you take the rope off. I can do it with one hand, but you take the rope off both places. That'll let this fall down. Obviously you do that all the way across, but we do one row at a time. I can't repeat that enough. We've got to get row one on, square and level. Square to the truck, pulled tight against the truck, level, and then we move on to row two. But that will allow us to then start working on emptying that bar and kitchen area, because we can pull out that's the walkway. It's number one and number two, I'm sorry, the sidebars, number one and number two, that go right here on the C panel, the C section here. They'll just go C section, well, they'll go right here. So you'll be able to start installing your front rails and your sidebar, even though we haven't got the back panels going yet, because we designed this so we start emptying stuff off the center, so the bartenders, they can come in from the back way, because someone could start setting with the back side. But everyone works on this side first because it's labor intensive. Once we get everything going over here, anyone can set up this back side, even a single person, but still things are kind of heavy, so I always try to get two people per side just to handle those walkways. Are somewhat heavy, but they just come down, but they do have to get, you know, jostled around quite a bit to get them lined up. So two people is better than one when it comes to working with these walkways, and these things are wicked heavy, especially the ones that have extra pipes welded on them to support. We did these ones with two pipes when they're multiple colors. We did these extra pipes here because the single pipe here is very difficult to make sure the thing stayed balanced, and we used to not pull these together, so they kept slipping off. So we made extra width on these just so that we could catch it when it was sliding. We pull them all together now, so we could have got away with the single pipe, but still a lot safer with these. But it makes these ones quite a bit heavier. But two people per pipe, you'll be fine. It really helps with the ratcheting and being able to do all the stuff you have to do. And the way we have these secured, you'll be fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one down and get row one all the way on, so that we can then start on a new video doing the sideboard and rails, but I'm going to go through the entire walkway platform here. Now you see here, I got row one installed, and what's important about it, I have pulled together everything that I needed. You'll see the one of them's blue, but you see the green cross straps are pulling it to the front, and these bigger ones that connect to the aluminum, there's two of them, are pulling it towards the truck. So now this thing is really locked tight tight, and I can start pulling things off the truck now. So I can go ahead. I've already set up the other side because I was working on the truck, but normally that wouldn't be that way just yet unless we had enough people. That side's quite easy. But now we would unattach those two side bars and bring them over here, install them here, 1 and 2, and we can get the rails and front rails and start installing those over there. So this corner here, even though we don't have anything else set up yet here, I'm still doing this by myself, so it's a process, and I'm painting as I go, making sure everything's labeled properly. But I'm able to start working, getting my staff that's working on food and beverages to work, and I haven't even got the bar set up yet. I'm to the point right here where I'm just trying to get the row 1 set, but we've designed it so that you can get to work right away. I can even pull that kegerator out of there and set it up over here. That's where I normally put it, is right here in the corner, and plug it in right there. There's these little waterproof outlets everywhere. But I'll just throw that kegerator right in the corner after I get the rails up out of the way, because there's a generator in there we don't use. That's the one we use for work when we're working out in the yard and whatnot, but we don't need it, so we can block it with the generator, and we set food up on that counter typically anyway. So we'll just pull the generator out of there so the chef can get in there and start prepping food in his little corner. The bartenders can get in theirs if we remove those two sidebars and start installing those there and there. And I haven't even got anything about row 2 going yet, because I'm trying to install these new ways I'm holding up the walkways. But that's what we're doing right here, is that once row 1's going, we can start installing the sidebar and the front rails, no problem whatsoever. But I just had moved along and I started balancing off row 2 supports at this point. But if we have lots of people doing this, 2 people per support, we'll just keep moving forward.